The month of July 2026 really packs a punch. This month is filled with some wild astrology going on that is unprecedented astrology. And this astrology really is very wild, very huge, very big, very expansive, and very tolerable. It's a really tolerable month, let me tell you. And I'm going to be breaking it down in this video, discussing all of the intricacies of the astrology for this month, because there's a heck of a lot going on, and I'm going to break it down, beginning of which from the 1st to the 23rd of July. But before I do, I want to remind you that this is part 1. Part 2 is coming tomorrow for July for all 12 zodiac signs, where you can expect for your sign based off of your sun, moon, and rising sign. Some things to think about, some things to consider during with having to do with the month of July. So Mercury is retrograde in Cancer for the first 23 days of the month. And this Mercury retrograde, is really asking us, and this Mercury retrograde is all about, it's in Cancer, so it's in the emotional water sign of Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the crab. It's a very emotional sign. It's a very sentimental sign. It's a very homebound sign. It's a sign where you just go into the store and see a candy bar and you want to eat that because of the comfort element of Cancer that just wants comfort food, just wants everything to be very comfy, cozy, very warm, and very inviting and nurturing. And so that's the theme with the Sun in Cancer for the first 22 days of the month until the 22nd. The Sun shifts over into Leo. I'll discuss that later, because that is significant. But so the Sun, Mercury retrograde in Cancer, what I want to discuss here is how are we being more compassionate? And Mercury retrograde is a time where, like you hear a lot of the pop astrology, a lot of the headlines of social media saying delays, miscommunications, this and that, technological breakdowns. And I just think that really is fear-based astrology. It's very negative astrology. I think that we really need to reframe the interpretations of Mercury retrograde to make it something more positive, to make it more something inviting and something more liberating for us, to not be so stuck in the trap of, oh, it's so terrible, the world is doomed during Mercury retrograde, expect all these negative things to go wrong. So I just think that we have to change this up. So, I'm going to do that towards the end of this. But anyway, how can we be more considerate? How can we be, considerate toward ourselves? How can we love ourselves? I mean, really with this Mercury retrograde, it's about self-love. How can we love ourselves as we are, in our own vessel, in our own livelihood, in our own life? How can we love ourselves exactly as we are, without trying to change anything, without trying to fix anything? How can we be more loving and nurturing toward ourselves? That's really the question with this Mercury retrograde. This is really the key focus here, because Mercury retrograde in Cancer is really sentimental, very emotional, and wants comfort, it wants peace, it wants harmony, it wants all these kind of things like this. And so it can be deeply compassionate, deeply considerate, and Mercury retrograde in Cancer is really nurturing. How can we nurture ourselves? How can we take care of our own vessel? Because we have to fill up our own cup. We have to fill up our own vessel. We have to take care of ourselves before we can nurture others and take care of others. That's how it works. We cannot be just operating from just depletion and lack of energy and lack of vitality. We have to nurture who we really are in order to then help others. So how can we be compassionate toward others in really, really nurturing ways during this Mercury retrograde? And how can we nurture ourselves very, very well? So this is giving ourselves enough food, maybe giving ourselves enough water, taking care of our physical health, taking care of our vitality, taking care of our well-being with Mercury retrograde in Cancer. This is really, really huge. So, this is really, really huge for Mercury retrograde. And one of the things with Mercury retrograde is it's not what you think it is. Going back to what I said earlier, with Mercury retrograde, it's not what you think it is. Because as soon as you have a burst of clarity that you thought that you had before, Mercury goes retrograde, and you're like, oh wow, I see this in a totally different light. I see this in a completely different light. I see this totally differently. I have a new perspective, a new perception. I didn't know this before, so it's not what you think it is. That's the thing going on right here. So can we take care of ourselves? Mercury retrograde is in Cancer. So maybe the ways that we nurtured ourselves before maybe don't work for us now. So we really, really need to take care of our own vessel, take care of our own selves. It could be any spiritual practice that we have. It could be speaking and having conversations that are emotionally focused with family members and the people in our life. Now, how can we act in a way with this Mercury retrograde? How can we act and communicate from our instincts? How can we act from our instincts during this time? Because Cancer is related to survival. Cancer deals with the principle of survival, and how do you survive? You don't operate on logic, you operate on intuition. So how can you, communicate in a way where you're communicating your feelings, communicating your emotions, making them very, very well known, and getting it out through your gut and your very essence of your very being when it comes to your, instinct with sense. The other thing with Mercury retrograde in Cancer is nostalgia. During this time in July, we really, really find, and Mercury retrograde kicked off at the end of June, so it's really, the bulk of it is in July. But so can we look back at the past? Can we look back at the past and say, like, okay, this memory occurred, this transition happened for me in my life, and this is the lesson that this transition is teaching me. And so it's looking at those more difficult experiences and trying to find the wisdom in those experiences, because it can be very, very hard to move through those deep experiences. It can be very, very difficult to move through the tough, very, very, challenging, harrowing times in our life. But if we can look back and find the wisdom in that experience, then we can find beauty. Also, nostalgia could be for the more positive memories. It could be for the happy memories with family. And, the thing is, we cannot change the past, nor can we go back to the past. So can we look at the past, learn from it, and then move forward into a new picture? Can we look at the past and can we admire it and reminisce it, but live in the now? This is about living in the now, especially with the Leo energy coming to the forefront. Jupiter in Leo, the Sun in Leo, Mercury in Leo coming in next month. Venus is in Leo from the 1st through the 9th. So, how can we live for the now? Leo is about living for the now, living in the moment, seizing the moment. So, this is really, really huge. And then the other thing with Mercury retrograde is, we can get lost in the feelings. We can get lost in the emotions, getting lost in the subjective version of our reality. We can get lost in all the feels, all the feeling state, all the emotional state, all the this, all the that, all the everything. So we need to really, really be mindful of where we're getting too sucked in to our emotions, getting too sucked into our feelings, and where that is holding us back from a more grounded sense of self, because sometimes our feelings can kind of take us down into some very, very dark, deep waters, and we can get drowned out by these feelings. So we have to come back to the earth. We have to come back to a sense of solid sense of self and sovereignty and peace and tranquility. And sometimes our emotions can really, really bring us off course and really, really to not make us feel a sense of peace, because we're riding the waves, and sometimes the waves can go up and down, and we miss the stability that we could be feeling because we're so caught up in the roller coaster ride, and just up and down and up and down. So can we get back to our own center, to our own grounded place? Can we get back to solidarity? Can we get back to calm, peace, and can we ground? I think that grounding, putting bare feet on the earth this month, and meditation can be very, very healing and helpful for all of us this month, and I want to energize and inspire that. So, I was listening to the astrologer Kathy Rose the other day. I was listening to her video on, July astrology, and I had nothing but positive things to say about it. She was talking about how she didn't like how, Mercury retrograde is, sort of advertised on social media, and I totally was with her on that. And her way of kind of giving a sort of forecast for Mercury retrograde, so to speak, is expecting clarity. And so with Mercury retrograde, new sense of clarity. Like during the Mercury retrograde, you are reviewing. Like it's a time to review, a time to reflect, a time to reevaluate. And you may very well be thinking like, okay, I'm going along on a certain path, but oh wait, I didn't consider this before. Oh wait, this new piece is coming up. This is interesting. And be curious to the new pieces of information. Be curious to the new insights that you gain, that you're like, I didn't have this before because I wasn't clear on this before, but now you are clear on it. So these pieces come up. Things come up because you go into your unconscious during Mercury retrograde, and then you gain new realizations, new revelations, and new clarity. You gain new sense of clarity because you're like, now I'm seeing this from a different perspective. It's kind of like Mary Poppins, the movie Mary Poppins Returns, where what's her name? Mary Poppins' cousin, I don't remember her name, but Topsy, I think it is. Topsy, I don't remember. Every second Wednesday of every month, she had the house flip over. She had her shop flip over, her china shop flip over. And when the china shop flipped over, she did not like it because it was it shocked her. It scared her. It was like, I don't want to be upside down. It gave her a little anxiety. But if you change your perspective on how you view Mercury retrograde, you can thrive during Mercury retrograde. if you can really, really accept and possibly embrace Mercury retrograde, you can understand that you're seeing things from a different point of view. You may be seeing things from a different point of view during this time, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all need a kind of reevaluation, seeing things from a new point of view at certain times. So now, the middle of July, I would say from the 15th through the 24th of the month, really, really big, but I think all month, the big aspects are happening. The trines, the sextiles between the outer planets. Jupiter is going to be sextile, Uranus, which could bring about the need to change, the need to be revolutionary, the need to wake everything up and wake us up when it comes to new possibilities for expansion and advancement. Jupiter is going to be also sextiling Neptune in Aries. Wait a second, no. Jupiter is going to be trining Neptune, excuse me. And this could make the case for anything is possible during this time. All the possibilities are in the air. There's limitless possibilities. Jupiter and Neptune really, when they were conjunct back in April 2022, that was a time when we were just infinite. There were no boundaries to our possibilities. So infinite compassion. The possibilities are endless during this time. You can dream up anything. We are all one. We have a lot of generosity and benevolence to give with that trine. And the opposition to Pluto, exact on the 20th of the month, is really where we can really look at, okay, what are the power struggles going on in our life, and what kind of power games are we trying to play? Now, the negative manifestation of Jupiter-Pluto, the Jupiter-Pluto opposition, could be where people are overly concerned with power, and they are overindulging in Jupiter. The oppositions and squares highlight the negative aspects of the planets involved. They highlight the negative aspects of Jupiter, which is just overindulging, overdoing it. So overdoing your power, overdoing the destructive quality of burning things to the ground. Money could be very, very huge of an issue in how people are utilizing that. And I also think that, Jupiter's in Leo opposite Pluto and Aquarius. So where have we become hyper-rational? Where we become so hyper-rational that we're just so concerned with being, that we're so concerned with logic and facts and all these kind of things like that. Like the downside of Pluto is the shadow of Pluto and Aquarius is hyper-rationality. So we need the Leo energy to help us to bring into connection with our hearts, connection with our soul, connection with our inner sense, to bring about stability. Not stability, but passion, expressing our heart's desire. And not only that, but Uranus is sextile Neptune, which could make about how are we going to make the world a better place? How are we going to make the world a much kinder place? And what are we going to do to serve humanity? Is what we are doing for the highest good of the all. Uranus is change, revolution, revelations, and Neptune is, compassion and empathy. So, how can we make new advancements and revolutionary aspects of our lives that could be beneficial to the all? How can we form a more higher, advanced, more compassionate, loving world? And then the trying to, the sextile to Neptune, and then the trying to Pluto is really all about change. That's the hallmark of it. Change where we are Well, we are, Uranus trine Pluto is, this is really, really big. And these planets are all at 4 degrees of their sign. Uranus trine Pluto, in its very nature, in the air signs of Gemini and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius, is really bringing about a lot of new advancements in communication. I am so looking forward to discussing with you these trines because I think that they're huge trines to discuss. And they will bring about a lot of advancements in communication, in writing, in information, in technological advancements, because air is technology, air is ideas. So we could change our thinking at this time. We could change our way of viewing it. Uranus and Pluto want change, and deep, profound change that can change humanity and change civilization. Like, we could be at a new dawning of a new civilization by the time that we're through the roller coaster ride, which is the month of July. It could usher in this month could usher in new possibilities for where we're going forward. And then Neptune trine to Pluto is where we are connecting on a soul level with others. I think that that's really the hallmark of it. Neptune sextile Pluto. The sextile offers us a window of opportunity to take advantage of. So Neptune sextile Pluto. Can we connect soul to soul? I mean, how are we connecting? Are we just connecting intellectually, just talking, and, up in the head and just not really dropping in and having deep connections? Or we can actually drop in and actually get to know the person for who they really are on a deep soul level. I think that is so huge for Neptune sextile Pluto. So I just wanted to give you an overview of those aspects. Another aspect which happens at the beginning of the month of July is, I want to discuss, Mars conjunct Uranus. And this happens July 4th, and it is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. I think that if you, do the math, then you will find that to be the case, that it is that. So yeah, this is really, really big. And I mean, the U.S. is in a very, very rough patch right now, so it's kind of, interesting. With all the things going on politically, with all the things going on, with our president acting as crazy and ignorant and, and just off the walls as he is, when it comes to just not thinking of the greater good for his country and not having integrity and this and that. So there's a lot of things happening. There's the war, in Iran that's wrapping up. There's, all these things. So, with the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Gemini, people may easily get irritated during this conjunction on July 4th. There could be some irritations involved. There could be people, and by the way, all those aspects that I overviewed, I may or may not do videos for all of them. I don't think I'll get to all of them, but I will get to as many as I want to and as many as I can. There'll be a lot of, get ready, there'll be a lot of 12 sign videos coming out this month. If there was already this month in June, you're going to see a lot more from me. So, okay, so that's what I want to do on this podcast, and so I want to do it. I really enjoy doing those kind of videos. So I enjoy discussing the transits with you and doing all this. So Mars conjunct Uranus. During this time, there could be a lot of people getting irritated, fired up, stirred up. This could be a possibility. There may be this irritable quality. So be aware that you may be feeling a little bit on edge. The negative low vibration of this is looking at looking at how you can be really, really let's see, I'm trying to get my train of thought correct. So, it's important with this aspect to have grace. To really, really have grace with people, to be patient with them, to be kind, to be compassionate towards them. Just know that things in life will take time for them to become realities. And so I think they could really, really be feeling really restless, really irritated, especially with Uranus and Mars. Like, these two planets are like, ants in your pants. Like, you're sitting and you just want to act, but like you want to suddenly act, you want to suddenly change. And I will be doing videos on the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Gemini coming up very, very soon here. I believe it will be on the 1st and 2nd of July when I'll be doing those episodes. So people could get irritated, as I've said before. But this, at best, inspires us to change. Mars and Uranus want action, want speed, want fast movement. They're both really, really active, masculine energies, and they're wild planets. They are individualized, rebellious planets. So they kind of want some of the similar things in terms of their energies. They're kind of bedfellows in a way, I guess you could say. But, so change, taking action. They want to take action in their own experiences, in their own lives. And can we... excuse me. Can we break free from old, stuck ways of being that we're just so stuck in, that we're just so absorbed in and caught up into with these two energies involved? We could be really, really stuck in the old ways of being with our lives. So, the question is, where are we stuck? Where are we just going along the same path, just, not changing things up, not advancing our lives, not revolutioning our lives, and we're stuck in the same old habit patterns? Where do we need to liberate ourselves from the status quo? Uranus wants to break free from the status quo. It says the status quo is too small. The status quo doesn't have, it's not advanced enough. I don't like the status quo. I want to rebel. I want to do my own thing. I want to be an individual. I want to be a maverick. So, this is about freeing yourself from the limitations of all that. Now, another thing that I just want to quickly discuss about this is there could be, we've seen a lot of recent earthquake activity in Venezuela and I think Japan, California. So we've seen it can bring about some shocking earthquakes and storms, wild weather, all these kind of sudden crazy events going on. Unexpected sudden events. That's a possibility with Mars and Uranus, because Mars is action, wants change. Uranus is the great shaker upper. It's the great mover and shaker of the cosmos. It can bring instability. So okay, so there's some more things to discuss here. Okay. So, sorry about that. Alright, so then we have the new moon in Cancer occurring on July 14th. So this new moon is where the sun and moon are meeting together in the sign of Cancer. They are conjunct in this sign. And so the focus now is on nurturing yourself, nourishing yourself. How are we going to nurture our own self, kind of like the Mercury retrograde? How are we going to come home to ourselves in our own body? The new moon in Cancer is about coming home to ourselves. It's about, really, really forming a safe home and nurturing sanctuary for ourselves. So coming home to ourselves, getting back into our bodies, getting back into our, getting into our emotions, doing things that are nurturing and nourishing for ourselves. We take care of both our inner and outer home, because Cancer is a sign that teaches us, hey, the home is not just a physical thing that you're just in, where it provides just a roof over your head and a nice bed to sleep in and this and that. It could also be a home inside yourself, a home inside your body. So can we have our home inside ourselves? Like, do you feel at home and comfortable and safe and secure inside your own body? So also healing your feelings, healing your emotions. I think that this is going to be a really, really huge thing with the moon in Cancer at this time, is healing. There's a lot of themes with emotional healing coming to play here. Healing the feelings that, healing the ouches, healing the very, very negative emotions that we may be feeling, the very sad, emotions. We're in the doldrums of everything, and we are healing this. We are finding a remedy to this. I mean, we're really, really finding that remedy during this new moon. The other thing with this new moon is, what are emotional foundations? What are our emotional foundations? And are we prioritizing our emotional well-being? Or are we neglecting it for the sake of work and productivity and whatever society expects from us with all its expectations? Like, no, it's the time to come home, focus on nurturing ourselves, stay home inside ourselves, maybe stay home this day, maybe take a day off, or relax, or it's all about taking time out for yourself to take care of the foundations, your home, your roots, or whatever gives you a solid sense of, I feel rooted, I feel grounded, I feel secure within myself. So now we're moving in new directions this month. Now there is a formation that's called a grand sextile. Some astrologers call it the Star of David. And it takes place between the 15th and the 24th of July. The Star of David is really, really huge. It all these aspects, these trines and sextiles form this grand formation. So you're going to hear me probably talk about the Star of David a little bit. I don't exactly, I have to look up, I don't know the how that name came about, but it is known as that, and astrologers have been talking about the Star of David and talk about how this month is a great new shakeup, a great new change. And so now I want to discuss a couple other things with this month. The sun changes signs on the 22nd, like it does every year, and so it moves into Leo, the home of the sun, the rulership of the sun. It rules, the sun rules Leo. It's at home in the sign of Leo. So it is time to celebrate yourself. It is time to celebrate yourself with who you really are, as an authentic version of you, really. It's time to celebrate who you are. It's time to celebrate the radiant you and shine your light, and not be afraid to shine, because the world needs your light. The world needs your love, your light, your energy, your vitality, your vibration. The world needs all of that. It's time to recognize that and appreciate that, and accept and embrace what you need to with that. And being creative, really being your creative, authentic self with, what do you want to create into the world? And I think that we define creativity as like art, painting, music, whatever, but creativity can be anything that you are coming up with. The fifth house rules creativity, corresponds to Leo, so the fifth house is what we give birth to. So, like projects and podcasts and babies, children, we give birth to children. We ultimately create children. It's the things that you create. So, now the Sun in Leo is about receiving applause. So on one level, it is about receiving the applause and accepting compliments, accepting the high root of Leo energies that can accept the applause and the recognition and the attention and whatever, but it's not dependent upon that to base its own external validation, self-worth. So while it's important to be receptive to things, we also need to remember to validate and love ourselves enough to where we're not dependent on the outside to give us the applause and the attention, that we can validate ourselves. And it's so liberating because we're not dependent upon the outside world to give ourselves the recognition, the applause, that cheerlead us for in our own lives. So releasing this need for external validation for who you are and what you want in your life. It's about not being afraid to shine your light, not being afraid to be your own light, and being generous. Really, really being generous with yourself. Spreading out. Leo is about generosity. Leo is about, opening up and spreading it, all around. And expressing yourself from your heart. Really, really being, expressing yourself from your heart, expressing yourself from your heart center, really, really huge with this, with this energy of the Sun and Leo. Leo is ruled by Leo rules the heart. Now, we need to be very, very careful of not becoming like the king of where we are egoically having all control, because the South Node's going to intro Leo during the season, so the 29 degrees, we're going to be looking at that. The South Node in Leo is actually going to be conjunct Donald Trump's ascendant at 29 degrees of Leo, so that could be really, really huge for him. That could indicate a lot of loss. That could indicate some looking at, like, where have I been overly arrogant? Where have I been overly prideful? Where have I been overly egotistical? And so there could be some looking at that and some loss of identity. Some shedding of the old skin, of the old layers with his own life when that South Node is, and especially the eclipse, the solar eclipse on August 12th, that I'm going to be discussing in depth, which is in the sign of Leo. I'll be talking about that. And so, yeah. So, all right. So, being generous, Leo can give really the shirt off their backs, and being heart-centered. So then Mercury goes direct on July 23rd, it ends the retrograde, and so this creates forward movement. This creates forward movement in the sky, in the atmosphere, in the cosmos. So we are done with the reviewing, we are done with the reevaluating, we're done with the reflecting, and now we have new clarity. Now we can wake up and go, okay, now I see things with absolute clarity now. I'm clear. I'm not, because during Mercury retrograde, we're gaining new clarity, and sometimes when we're in the process of gaining new clarity, we're not clear. We're kind of, like when we're not clear, we are, like during Mercury retrograde, we're going unconscious. It's kind of like we're delving right into the unconscious. So when Mercury goes direct, like boom, we see it more clearly now. We see it, with a greater perspective now, out of all the review. Like, we have to go through the review before we have a change of perspective. So Mercury going retrograde gives us that. Now we have the new clarity. So then the last phase of the Mercury retrograde, the post-shadow, which ends, which Mercury leaves Leo and enters it on the 9th of August. Mercury enters Leo on the 9th of August. So during this post-shadow period, we can integrate all the new insights that we've gained. The post-shadow is known as the integration phase. We can integrate all the insights and all the, as I said before, all the new revelations and things that we've gained during the Mercury retrograde. The second half of the month has a lot of forward movement in it. The first half is more slow and reflective. July is a month of new clarity. Okay, so then Neptune goes retrograde on July 7th. And I want to discuss this a little bit deeper. So Neptune going retrograde, I may not discuss this, I may talk about it, I don't know. But now you are reviewing how realistic your dreams are, because when Neptune goes retrograde, the veil thickens, I want to say, where you see things more realistically. You see things more like you're in reality, you're in the 3D tangible reality, you're seeing things from a more logical left brain perspective as opposed to more right brain, and you're seeing things from a more realistic lens. You're getting a dose of reality. You're seeing things more logically. You're more pragmatic about your dreams, and so you're going to be reviewing how real are these dreams. Neptune will be retrograde until December 12th, so you'll have these, 5 months to review this. So then Venus in Virgo, it's going to be from July 9th to August 6th, and this is going to be, which is about service. Venus in Virgo really is about serving others in love, really doing things for others because you care about them, because Virgo has a genuine desire to serve other people. It has a desire to serve the others involved because it just wants to make a difference. It wants to help. So it's about being perfect in the partner you choose, being very discerning in the partner you choose. It's very important. Virgo teaches us discernment. Does the partner really have their life together? Does the partner really have their stuff together? Does the partner really have it all figured out? Does it really have the partner really have all their ducks in order, ducks in a row? Is the partner really right for me on a mental, emotional, physical, level? That's really what we can ask ourselves. Okay. So, and the other thing with this is we're focusing on our health. We're focusing on our well-being. We're focusing on taking care of our health because Virgo rules health, and Venus in Virgo is really attracted to going to the gym or, nutrition and all those things. So can we really take care of our bodies, take care of our health, think about our daily habits, our daily routines? Can we think about taking care of ourselves on the physical and the mental level, because Virgo both rules your physical and mental health. Now, on the 28th, I do believe, I'm just going to look it up here just to verify that it is the 28th here, just while I have my thing. This is me being an astrologer now. So on the yes, it is the 28th of July. The nodes change signs into Aquarius and Leo, and they stay until March 27th of 2028. And so with the South Node in Leo, the South Node is what we're releasing and moving away from, and things to let go of and shed of our identity. This transit invites you to release any tendency of being arrogant. Any tendency where you've been arrogant and overly prideful, overly entitled, with thinking that you're the best and being superior to others, and thinking that, preaching that you're superior and having, really, taking others down with the ego, being. That's what we're going to really take a look at. And, the tendency involving caring too much about what the audience thinks of you, that you're just not doing your own thing. Like, you're not liberated to just do your own thing, because the South and Leo people can be really over concerned with the opinions with the audience. It's like the audience sees what the Leo person, or Leo Southern person does, and they're like, I want to see this again. Do this. How about you do this? How about you do that? And then the Leo South Node person is catering. And then the Aquarius North Node side of it is, can I do my own thing? Can I detach from the drama? Can I detach from all the egoic things of needing the approval, of needing, the applause of what I can really gain perspective. And I think that when you do this, you will think of the greater good because you're in a more liberated, perspective. So, where are you not free to do your own thing? And, I think that we're going to be leaning into expressing our heart's joy. We want to, with this, it's really critical that we don't disown the South Node, that we heal the South Node patterns. What is the high root of Leo? But creativity, expressing heart energy, being a creative self. So we want to use that, but we want to do it in a way where we're not low vibration Leo, where we want to rebel against what the audience wants and against others, but be in our identity, be in our sense of self, and shine in our own light. Because Jupiter will be in Leo, Mars will be in Leo, so that'll really be activating a lot of things for us during this particular go-around of the South Node in Leo. So this could bring about a lot of healthy rebellion. So rebelling in a healthy way, and I think it's very critical to rebel in a healthy way. Not just rebelling and, destroying relationships and doing all this, but, rebelling because, not for the intention of, like, taking others down, but, rebelling because you want freedom and you want to be liberated and you want to break free of any limitation that have held you back and do all this. I think that is going to be put in the thing. And then 2 days before, July 26th, Saturn stations retrograde. So, where have we not set healthy enough boundaries with the people in our life? Because Saturn is boundaries, Saturn is limitations, Saturn is restrictions. So we're looking at where are we not set healthy boundaries with people in our lives, with people in our close quarters, with people, that could be part of it. And it's time to look at your long-term goals with Saturn retrograde. And look at, are these long-term goals that I have for my life actually sustainable? Can I hold these long-term values in my life, or are they on stable foundations, or are they is the building gonna be destroyed and it's going to crumble and it's just going to topple over? So we want to have strong foundations. We want to have long-term goals, whatever, work, relationship, whatever area of life that this applies to you in your own life. You could look at where Saturn is transiting in your chart, and you could find some value out of that, sure. And I'm not saying that you absolutely can't, but what area of your life, regardless of that, could you find, and I will allow myself to say, finding that area of life in your chart, because, who knows, it may resonate for some people, it may not resonate for others. So that area of life might, you might find a lot of things like, in this area of life, I may need to reevaluate some things. I may need to let go of some, change some things. So then we can review where we haven't put in the work. Saturn is about putting in the work, making things happen, really putting in our, effort and whatever to make our dreams a reality. And so where have we not done this? Where have we not put in the work? Where are we not, really, have been disciplined enough, put enough effort to make our dreams a reality? Saturn will go direct December 10th. Then the 29th, the last day of the month, we have a wild card energy of the full moon in Aquarius, which is activating the Jupiter-Pluto opposition exact on the 20th. So, can we let go of tendencies? With the full moon in Aquarius, we're releasing the shadows of whatever sign the moon is in with any full moon. So the shadow side of Aquarius is being an outcast. Being sitting on the sidelines, really, being so detached and so analytical, that we are not embracing our own heart, our own life force energy, where we're afraid of standing out, we're afraid of being an individual. And Aquarius just wants the shadow side is blending in and wanting to just blend in with the many, being one of the many, and just go along with the group and be part of the community and this and that, and just to sacrifice your own heart's desire just for the sake of the community, just for the sake of the safety net of the community. So during this full moon, we are releasing these qualities. So can we follow our creative passions at this time? And can we follow what our hearts, desire for ourselves? Following our creative, what we want to do creatively. And can we express our heart's desire, express our, what we want to do from our heart, and march to the beat of our own drum, like Aquarius marches to the beat of its own drum. And it does its own thing. That's the high word. It's to march to the beat of your own drum and be an individual. Be sovereign, stand out. Don't follow the group. Don't follow. That's also Aquarius energy. So looking at the high word of Aquarius, kind of like it's the moon. So, that could be a part of it. And then to add into this, the Sun and Jupiter are cazimi, or the Sun is conjunct Jupiter in Leo, so Jupiter is in the heart of the Sun. So it is time for abundance. It is a time of abundance. It is a time where there are many blessings coming to the forefront. And it is time to really shine your light with Leo energy, shining your light, really, really being your authentic self, really, really being who you truly are. And, when you do this, you're going to get a lot of luck and blessings and gifts from Jupiter, because Jupiter brings blessings. Jupiter is the great benefic, so that's a little taste of that energy. I may or may not discuss that energy when we get there. But anyway, that is your July astrology overview. That is the overview giving you what to expect for the month of July. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you found value from it. If you did, consider subscribing to my channel so that you do not miss the astrology transit videos that I will be doing for the month of July. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you do not miss any videos, because I post regularly on this channel. This is a really, really busy channel. So you don't want to miss the individual transit videos where I go deep into specific transits that I'm going to be doing throughout this month. And also make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the videos. I would recommend that. If you want to, of course, it's totally free for you, totally optional for you. I'd love you to join this community. I'd love you to support me. Thank you so much for your time and attention watching this. And yeah, so that's what I have to say for the month of July. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow for your 12-sign forecast for July 2026. Anyway, this is it for now. I'll see you next time. Take good care.